Over the last two videos, we've used a really foolproof template to make two completely different coffee old fashions. One of which with a kind of classic flavor profile, which uses coffee saccharum liqueur to bring in the coffee element to the drink. And then the second with a really delicious kind of floral characteristic, which uses a bed of ground filter coffee, which we then pass the whole cocktail through to infuse some of the really nice floral flavors from the coffee into the drink. Today we're gonna do something completely different, and we're gonna make a triple smoked coffee old fashioned. But I know this sounds very smoky, but it's actually one of the most refreshing and kind of balanced cocktails I've made in a very long time. So, without further ado, let's make some coffee cocktails. All right, welcome back to the Coffee Cocktail channel, everyone. I'm Dan Fellows, and this is the third episode in our Coffee Old Fashioned series. So for all three recipes, we've been using a basic template, which is 60 ml of your base spirit, 5 to 15 ml of your sweetener, 3 dashes of bitters, and up to 0.5 grams of saline solution, stirred down, served over clear ice, and then garnished with an aromatic garnish like a citrus peel. Today we're going to use that template again and take it in a completely different direction to the last two episodes. So this approach of having a kind of base template that you then adapt and explore different flavor profiles within is a really kind of powerful tool, and it's the format that I use for my Introduction to Cocktail course, which I've just launched on Skillshare and also Patreon. So this course is an hour-long course that shows you all the basic tools and approaches you need to start making delicious cocktails right away, even if you've never made them before. I'll post the teaser for that course at the end of this video, so you can stick around and watch that. But I'm going to be sharing all levels of content from Introduction to Coffee, Introduction to Cocktails, right through to more advanced techniques over time. And you can either access this through Skillshare, and I'll put a sign up link below in the description, or if you sign up to my Patreon, which massively supports the channel. So the tiers of support on my Patreon page start at just £3 a month, or I think it's $4 per month, which is actually cheaper than the cost of Skillshare, and you'll get weekly access to all the lessons in this course and the option to be entered into giveaways and also sneak peeks into future content. So I hope this has given lots of value for your £3 a month, and hopefully it's something you're interested in. If you are, amazing, thank you very much. It goes such a long way in supporting the channel, but equally if you're not able to, that's totally fine, and even something as simple as subscribing or liking the video if you find value is greatly appreciated. So both of the Skillshare and Patreon links are in the description, and now let's make the triple smoked coffee old fashioned. The triple smoking actually refers to the 3 base spirits, all of which are going to have some sort of smoky element, but the drink's actually quintuple smoked, which I had to Google what comes after quadruple, because we've actually in this recipe got 5 different elements of smoke, but I thought triple smoking sounds a bit more sensible and a bit more understandable. So for the triple smoked coffee old fashioned, we're going to need a few things. The first of which being a sage smoking gun and cloche, which we have here. And I've also got some bourbon chips, which are kind of ground up bourbon barrels, which are going to be our smoking wood of choice, but you can use whatever wood you fancy. We're also going to need 3 different base spirits based on our 60 ml template. So each of these is going to have a smoky element. We're going to have a bourbon, which I'm going for Buffalo Trace. We've got a PT whiskey. I'm going for Glenfiddich Fire and Cane. And also I'm going for a mezcal. I like a young mezcal in this recipe, like this one from Ilegal. So these are a kind of trio of spirits, but we're still going to use the 60 ml total amount, which we're going to blend between the 3. We're going to need some spent coffee grounds, like so. I'm going with an espresso puck, but you could also use filter grounds. I'd recommend using a coffee with plenty of kind of brightness and vibrancy and lots of fruit in there, just like this pink bourbon, which is a wash process from Colombia and roasted by my friends at Blossom Coffee Roasters. We're going to want a 2-to-1 honey syrup. So this is really easy to make. Just add 2 parts honey to 1 part water. And then we're going to have a couple of different forms of seasoning, as always. So I'm going for Scrappy's Bitters, which is a black lemon bitters, which brings some kind of vibrancy to the drink. But you could also go with an orange bitters or an aromatic bitters. And then we're going to add a small amount of smoked saline solution, made with 1 part smoked salt to 5 parts water. But if you don't have access to smoked salt, I'll put it in the description, and you can also make this just with regular salt. So all of the recommended bottles and tools that you're going to need are going to be linked in the description below, so you can pick those up for yourselves. Or I recommend experimenting with what you have in the house, your kind of preferred ingredients and the tools you have to make something delicious. So for our triple smoked coffee old fashioned, we've got a trio of spirits, all of which bring a different kind of smokiness to the drink. So first of all, I've got a bourbon. I'm going with Buffalo Trace. And what I've done is actually add this to a bottle, no more than half full. Pump some of that wood smoke into the bottle, cap it and give it a good shake, and let that sit and kind of mingle and interact for 5 minutes, so you get a really nice kind of smoky character. I then gave it a taste and then repeated the process once more, so you've got plenty of that kind of campfire smokiness, and you're left with this. So we're going to go in with 20 ml of our smoked bourbon, which also has those nice toffee characteristics from the Buffalo Trace. And to this, we're going to add our second smoky element, which is also our coffee element. So I'm going with a peaty whiskey, which has that inherent peatiness and that kind of smoky character. But this also has some really nice kind of sweetness from the rum casks. And this is Glenfiddich Fire and Cane. So to introduce the coffee to this, I took an espresso puck from Dialin In. It's a washed Colombian coffee with lots of sweetness, some citrus, and it ties in really well with the other ingredients. I added 20 grams of this to a jar with 100 grams of Glenfiddich Fire and Cane. Gave it a really good shake and then passed this through a paper filter. And we're left with this spent coffee Glenfiddich Fire and Cane, which I'm going to add 20 mils of. So we've got 20 mils of our smoked bourbon, 20 mils of our spent coffee peaty whiskey, and then the final part, when it comes to the spirits, is 20 mils of mezcal. So the production of mezcal involves fire and smoke, and this brings a really different kind of smokiness. It's kind of grassy, a little bit more kind of vibrant and kind of almost astringent, but this brings a kind of freshness to the drink which works really nicely. So now we've got our triple smoked spirit base. We're going to add our sweetener, which is going to be 10 mils of a 2-to-1 honey syrup. Obviously, if you like a sweeter drink, you can go more. If you like a drier drink, you can go a little bit less, but 10 mils works really nicely. And then to season the drink, I'm going to go 3 dashes of Scrappy's black lemon bitters. 1, 2, 3. But again, you could use orange bitters or aromatic bitters or whatever bitters you have at home, but Scrappy's are amazing. And also look out for a Patreon giveaway with these very, very soon. So to recap the recipe, we've got 20 mils of our smoked bourbon, 20 mils of our spent coffee infused peaty whiskey, 20 mils of mezcal, 10 mils of our 2-to-1 honey syrup, 3 dashes of black lemon bitters, and 0.5 grams of our smoked saline, stirred down over ice. We're gonna strain the drink over clear ice in a frozen glass, and I'm just gonna express some lemon zest over the drink for that nice freshness, which ties in with the really nice kind of black lemon bitters from Scrappy's. And then to finish the drink, we're gonna have our final smoked element, which is gonna be smoke. So in here, I'm gonna encapsulate the drink. We're then gonna fill up our cloche with our bourbon barrel wood smoke. And I don't really believe in theatre for the sake of theatre. This is actually gonna really bring a nice kind of smoky aroma to the drink to complement all the smoky notes within it. So now I'm gonna light our smoking gun until we fill up our cloche full of that beautiful bourbon barrel smoke. And this finishes off our triple smoked coffee old fashioned, which is actually quintuple smoked, including this and our smoked salt. So now this has taken on plenty of that smoky aroma, we can reveal the triple smoked coffee old fashioned. So the triple smoked coffee old fashioned. Cheers everyone. It's so much more refreshing than you think. There's like plenty of smoke there, very complex kind of different types of smoke, plenty of aroma. Also the zesty aroma from the lemon and the bitters is really nice. The coffee ties it all together really well. It's a really delicious riff on the coffee old fashioned. It's quite smoky in here and I'm really happy with that. So I encourage you to give this a go, to kind of experiment with lots of different coffee old fashioned templates. And if you find value in this kind of thing, make sure you subscribe to the channel, which I'll put at the end of the video. But now you can watch the Skillshare course teaser. Cheers for watching and let's roll the footage. Even if you've never made a cocktail in your life, this course is going to teach you everything you need to know to get started making delicious drinks right away. I'm Dan Fellows, the only ever double World Coffee and Good Spirits champion, which is the world's leading coffee cocktail competition, and I've been obsessed with cocktails since the moment I stepped foot behind the bar as soon as I turned 18. I also have a YouTube channel which focuses on coffee cocktails, but this course is designed to be kind of foundational and really get you started on your cocktail journey. In this course, I'll show you everything you need to start making delicious drinks, regardless of your experience level and regardless of whether you're making these either at home or in a bar. We're going to talk through the tools of the trade and also some substitutions so you can use the things you have at home to make delicious drinks. We'll talk about the essential ingredients you need, many of which are on our back bar, which are very affordable, readily available, and you can start making drinks even if you don't have all of them. We'll talk about how to effectively balance drinks, and then we're going to run through 5 delicious recipes that show 5 different fundamental cocktail mixing techniques, which are going to be really useful for you to try at home. And without further ado, I think it's time for us to start making some cocktails.